7-Eleven Day. Everybody, who's coming up tonight on Now.
It's a very scary thing when it happens to you.
Are masked men running off with your money? Bank robbers are holding up tellers, but they're not getting very far. DHHS is making changes right now to better protect Maine's children. Will you ever trust the child welfare system again? We want to hear from you. And Somali business owners are trying to unite a tense Lewiston community with open conversation and a good plate of food. This is News Center now. Who robs banks anymore? When you put your money in the bank or the credit union, you pretty much assume it's going to be safe and well taken care of.
Yeah, and it seems like that something belongs in an old Western movie, but bank robberies do happen, and we've had a few here in Maine, to say the least. So what are banks doing to protect your money? Chris Costa went to find out.
So Lee and Lindsay, so far in 2018, there have been 7 bank robberies from Orono to Lewiston to Falmouth. They've all been robbed, so security is at the top of bankers' minds. Just yesterday in Waterville, police used GPS technology to arrest an alleged bank robber in just 48 minutes. There's the technology we see, the technology we don't see, and new ways in the works to keep your money safe.
I've been robbed twice, as a matter of fact, in my career.
Jason Lindstrom knows what it's like to have a masked man steal money right in front of him when he was a teller.
It's a very scary thing when it happens to you.
With large sums of money coming in and out of Evergreen Credit Union, he and his staff are prepared for when a robber comes in.
It's something that we have to invest money in.
In Maine so far this year, 7 banks have been targets of robbery.
Somebody that will take a desperate act to go in and rob a bank, we consider them very dangerous.
In 5 of those cases, police made an arrest that day, like in Waterville, where dispatchers directed officers from 8 different agencies using a GPS tracker in the stolen money to arrest an alleged bank robber in less than an hour.
But if it weren't for them, we wouldn't be where we are right now, which is a successful apprehension.
You know, it's all weatherproofed.
Banks and credit unions are trying to get ahead of would-be robbers. Technology like high-definition 360-degree cameras with enhanced zoom captures everyone going in, out, and around the building.
It's not the photos of old where it was black and white. We have nice high-definition images.
While banks never plan on losing your money, they do plan to get it back. So according to the FBI, there have been 7 bank robberies in Maine so far in 2018. In Massachusetts, 56, 12 in New Hampshire, and 3 in Rhode Island. Police in Maine are still looking for robbery suspects from 2 robberies, one in Orono and this one in China from July 5th. The Maine State Police shared these pictures on their Facebook page this afternoon showing the masked bandit, and they are asking for the public's help. And they really rely on that when those kind of resources run out.
Harder to get away with it these days, and that's a good thing, right?
Thank you, social media.
All right, exactly.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. All right, so we left the Florida summer behind, which is just icky and bleh. Okay, now we're back to Maine summer again.
And it's very welcomed. Much cooler out there and on point, Keith.
Coco, where are you going? Hold on. Before he leaves, I solved a robbery in that story, which was Stormy was robbed to shoot the story. Did you see it in the video?
Actually, it's so funny. He was actually asked for permission by Clay before we left.
Okay, all right, fine.
I told them zoom in on the license plate in case Keith is speeding, so
that's an arrestable offense here.
Stormy.
Lee looks really uncomfortable.
He's so protective of Stormy.
Okay.
You're just
How about
jealous
this?
you
You
don't
can
have
use
a
your
new
salary
car.
to buy us a new news car.
There we go.
Okay,
I knew we'd end there
the
somehow.
guy who walks to work has his own car and a parking spot.
All right. Anyways, high temperatures today, 80 in Portland, 82 Freiburg, 79 in Portland, 80 in Augusta. So pretty mild today, but the dew points were a lot lower. Temperatures currently in the mid-70s, so really comfortable day, and we've gotten that humidity down. That's where it's staying right now. Look at the dew points differing slightly with a little bit of marine air here along the coastline. That's where the dew points are in the 50s. You go, though, into the mountains or just even into the foothills, and dew points are in the 40s and 30s, so verifiable, crisp air there. We slowly ramp those dew points up as we head into the weekend. Hour by hour forecast is going to show us clear skies through tonight. Nothing really going on the satellite. That's how it stays. Tomorrow is partly cloudy. I don't think it's as nice as today as far as the cloud cover goes, but temperatures in the upper 70s to around 80 degrees and just a very isolated sprinkle. We're talking 5% chance here, but struggling with it, decided to put the chance of that shower in there. But most of us end up dry, as do we on Friday as well. Guys, the weekend looks pretty decent with some heat building back in for next week. We'll talk about it in a few minutes.
All right, we look forward to that for sure. So what happens when you call the Child Protective Services hotline and you report child abuse? That's a question that a lot of you have been asking since the deaths of 2 little girls sparked an investigation into Maine's Child Protective Services. A lot of you are saying you have totally lost faith in the system.
And we want to hear from you right now. Go to pulse.newscentermaine.com to vote in our poll on our app or mobile app or website.
Do you think that the reviews happening right now at DHHS will lead to meaningful changes that will keep our children safe?
In a new show of transparency, DHHS is talking about caseworker loads, salaries, and what happens when you call. Christina Rex reports.
When you make a report of child abuse to Maine's Child Protective Services, it's heavily screened by intake workers. First, if your allegation of abuse is deemed inappropriate, that case is closed. Reports can be considered inappropriate for parent-child conflicts, nonspecific allegations, custody issues, and families in crisis where there are no abuse allegations. Your report could also be passed off to what is called alternative response. These outside contracted agencies take on cases that are considered to be of low or moderate severity, and the case is then closed at DHHS. Lastly, if your report is serious or alarming, an intervention is necessary, that child is assigned to a child protective caseworker. There are currently 326 child protective caseworkers at DHHS. If the caseworker finds your claims are unsubstantiated, the case is either closed or assigned to one of the alternative response agencies. If that child protective caseworker determines your allegations are valid, they have 3 options: close the case, open the case at DHHS, or assign the case to a contracted agency.
Now, the DHHS commissioner says that reports of abuse are at an all-time high, started spiking back in March of this year, and he adds that the department is working on new ways to report abuse to erase the number of calls, which would include a form you could fill out online.
Well, that spike in calls is falling at a time when there is a laser focus on DHHS and child welfare. It's definitely not a coincidence. We have a poll going on right now. Do you think the reviews happening will lead to meaningful changes at DHHS to help protect Maine's children? And here's what's already underway. DHHS says an internal investigation has already led to changes within the department. A government watchdog group is working on phase 2 of its report. The legislature is promising change, and Governor LePage wants to take action too. You, the average citizen of Maine, having confidence in the child welfare system makes a big difference.
I think it's really, really important that at the end of the process, however long it takes, is that the public has confidence in the systems in place. Because if the public doesn't have confidence, they're less likely to report, because what's the use? I don't believe they're going to do anything good with it. I don't trust what they're going to do. So it's really, really important that the people of Maine believe in the systems that we have that are designed to protect children.
And that is a former caseworker and supervisor explaining why this process is so important. It's part of our half-hour show dedicated to protecting Maine's children.
We want you to check out that show right now on our mobile app. You can also see really important resources and helpful tips. If there's a child in your life that you might fear might be in danger, please do not wait. Do what you can right now.
All right, a new Somali food truck is opening in Lewiston.
It kind of shows that you're reaching out and you're like, try my culture, get to know me.
Why this grand opening comes at a tense time.
And you have a pet who lives and breathes the spirit of America. Send us a photo right now on our Facebook Live or YouTube stream. You will want to see these pictures coming up. Do you have a patriotic pet? If you do, this was the day to proudly display the red, white, and blue banner with pride. It's All-American Pet Photo Day. Of course it is.
Right.
It's a ridiculous holiday, but we don't care because it's an excuse to share pictures of your dogs and your cats.
And we'll use any excuse
Clearly,
we have.
we love the pets on this show. Okay, so first up It is Sully H.W. Bush.
Aww.
How could we not? Look at that face.
I wonder how many followers he's at on Instagram already.
Way
it was like
more
32,000
than me.
last week.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
So, alrighty. Next
so
up.
Cute. Okay, next up is Loki, the All-American Aussie. This picture came in from Sue. Are those two different colored eyes?
Oh, wow, look at that. Yeah.
Look at that. That could be your holiday photo right there for your holiday cards, don't you think?
Most people send their pets instead of themselves anyway.
I
So
do.
There you go.
I'm guilty.
So everybody really wants to see. How about Neebs? Neebs is in a bow tie. This came in from Kelsey, very proper. Got the little bell on the tie, so always knows when dinner time is when the bell rings.
All right, and Bella is the closest pet to a bald eagle. This is from Lisa, her little feathered friend there. How sweet is that? Doesn't have to be a dog or a cat.
And Amanda sent us Roman, who's hanging out, celebrating the 4th of July. Looks like a golden retriever dogkini, if you will. Bathing suit with the hat, and I love how he's posing right there for that picture as well.
I know, so proud, right? Oh.
Proud to be Americans. Pets, people, all alike.
All of us. Okay, well, you know how
go.
earlier you were talking about how you wanted a car, kind of like how Keith has Stormy, and he's very protective of it?
Yeah.
Well, maybe you have a chance. Listen to this. Okay, is Tyler Perry, movie mogul and director, giving away a brand new Tesla to a lucky person on Facebook?
What about a fancy new watch or maybe a shopping spree? If you think it is too good to be true, you're right.
Do not give your information to any of these people. Do not give them anything. I don't know who they are, but every day we have to get 10, 20, 30 of those things shut down.
These Tyler Perry scams are all over social media right now, probably partially because of this video from comedian Tiffany Haddish, where she reveals that Tyler Perry bought her a new car, but he's only doing it for his friends, apparently not random people on Facebook, so do not fall for it, and apparently it pays to be friends with Tyler Perry.
And it also pays to be friends with Lee Goldberg.
I have a Tyler and I'm friends with him, but he's not buying me a car either, so.
No,
There you go.
Okay. Well, you still have time to vote in today's Pulse poll. Do you think the reviews of DHHS happening right now will lead to meaningful change that will better protect Maine's children? We're trying to understand how much confidence you have in the system right now, so please weigh in.
And right now it's overwhelmingly no, and about 90% of you say no, you do not believe in meaningful change, but please keep voting so we can get a better number and better sample size by the end of our half hour. Okay, they've survived so much already, but the memories from inside that flooded cave could haunt the boys who were trapped there forever. Meditation helped keep them calm while they were trapped, and it could help them lead healthy lives going forward. How you can push past panic and find your center. That's coming up next.
And if these temperatures are your idea of a perfect Maine summer, cherish them. Things are changing. And Keith is bragging.
Hi kids, what's for dinner tonight? How about a fried pastry stuffed with meats and cheese and locally grown vegetables? It is called sambusa. It is a staple of Somali cuisine.
And thanks to a collaborative effort, a Somali food truck and farm stand is now open in one Maine city, and the timing of it could cater to a larger need in the community.
It feels good, you know. All that hard work is going to pay off.
Abali Hassan is getting the crates cleaned and ready for the fresh vegetables grown by his mother and other Somali farmers at a farm in Lisbon. They are part of the Isukin Co-op, their dream to bring Somali cuisine to Maine.
We did it! We made our goal! Thank you!
I'm like extremely excited.
While the truck remains a blank canvas, they're also taking on an entire farm stand. Isukin Co-op and New Roots Cooperative Farm teamed up to restore the former Blackie's farm stand on Sabatis Street in Lewiston.
And I'm really, blessed to be here with them too and see both groups sort of like work on these things together, and it's really, really awesome.
The farmers' goal is to unite the community through food, and the timing could be crucial.
There's a lot of hate going on. People are less inclined to actually approach someone different from them.
Sateh Mutar says she lives about a mile from Kennedy Park and has heard about the recent violence there. A brawl ended in a man's death.
It's hurtful to hear this stuff, that this is happening.
Lewiston police have also established a curfew at the park of 10 p.m. and have stepped up patrols.
People haven't given us a too hard hard of a time recently, so I think people are okay with it, and it's working for us as well.
I think it definitely is something that's gonna bring people together.
Muhtar hopes the farm stand and food truck serve as a space for neighbors to connect over a common love for food. And Hassan says there's nothing like watching others take that first bite of sambusa.
And the first time they try, they're like, wow, it's really good.
And while the food truck isn't open just yet, the farm stand is, and as of just a few minutes ago, actually, it will be open Monday through Friday, 11 to 7, and weekends from 10 to 5.
And I'm hungry.
I know,
That's
right?
all that took.
Let's jump in the car.
Really?
Let's go to Lewiston. Keith,
Seriously.
you on board?
I'm good.
They have a big cook-off event happening right now till
all
7
I heard
o'clock.
was Keith's buying, so I'm in.
I mean, this is the second thing today. So today was pretty nice after some thunderstorms, which we're going to talk about those in raindrops because everybody was kind of buzzed up over them. There's some pretty good storms. But the story today was quiet weather. The air mass changed between the thunderstorms, much cooler and notably drier with temperatures now in the mid-70s, some low 80s in Freiburg at 81 degrees. But again, those dew points a lot lower. Crisp in the mountains, in the 50s along the coast, and some of that is just a little marine influence, but not nearly as high, not nearly as sticky as it was yesterday, and nowhere in the vicinity of as sticky as it was last week. Visible satellite clean today, a couple of puffy clouds out there, cumulus clouds showing up on the satellite, and a few into Quebec, but the rest of today and into tonight is quiet. Now, tomorrow is an interesting day because it's going to be nice, but there's just an isolated chance for a sprinkle. It's such a small chance, like a 5% chance, that I almost didn't want to put it on the forecast. However, if you see partly cloudy and it rains on you at all, you're not going to be happy. So what's going on here is the atmosphere is pretty cool aloft. That makes it very easy to produce a shower, even if there's no forcing, no front or anything like that. So that's why I put a 5% chance of a shower in tomorrow. Most of us, though, are dry, and then Friday is similar, temperatures in the upper 70s, low 80s, and we build some warmth into the weekend, particularly on Sunday. Just wanted to update you on the drought. People ask questions about that. We've had a couple of thunderstorms, but as far as big, persistent rain, we haven't done much. So the drought is escalating now into moderate category over southern Maine and into the mid-coast and in the abnormally dry category to the north. Based on this week, if anything, it's just going to get worse. There's no major rainfall in the forecast. I want to show you Chris here. Hurricane doesn't look that impressive when you zoom out, right? It's a good-looking storm, but then it's very spatially small. It'll be moving off to the north and east as a Category 1 storm. Not a big deal, but it will bring us some waves, some big swells out there, and some coastal splash over tonight and into tomorrow. Good for the surfers. They're pretty excited about that. Nice to be able to surf without a wetsuit. You don't do that too often in Maine. Still might need one, but it's not as brutal. The weekend's okay. Scattered shower on Saturday. Sunday looks warmer, upper 80s inland. We stay warm for Monday and Tuesday, probably hitting 90 inland on Tuesday, mid 80s along the coastline, and perhaps some more organized showers and thunderstorms for Wednesday. So pretty typical stuff. You know, quite a few little raindrops in there, but most days are dry, and it's just a scattered chance of a shower or thunderstorm. So summer.
I was surprised yesterday to hear those storms rolling. I can't wait for raindrops.
All right, it's coming up.
Okay.
This story is unbelievable. Everybody's still talking about this because the 12 boys and their soccer coach are slowly getting their strength back after surviving weeks more than a mile underground in that flooded cave in Thailand. It's really an amazing story. They're in isolation right now getting vaccinations because doctors aren't sure what diseases or germs those boys were exposed to. And the boys are going to have such a bond for the rest of their lives to think about what they've already been through together and what they've survived together.
I've been thinking about that. While they were trapped, their coach taught them how to meditate, and it turns out it likely played a crucial role in keeping them alive. Lindsay Sievert shows us the power of meditation in a crisis.
The soundtrack of summer circles Bade Makaska while steps from the water. A Minnesota Zen meditation class falls silent. The minds in this moment connect with the Thailand rescue afar.
I can really understand how meditation would help someone who's trapped in a cave. Anytime we're in a crisis, things start happening, our mind really kicks into high gear. And that really adds a whole layer of suffering to what's going on. If we can meditate, if we can come back to our breath, we're going to eliminate that whole layer of panic.
Zen priest Ted O'Toole teaches this Buddhist tradition, understanding the transformation that begins simply with breath.
You pay attention to the breath as it comes in, You pay attention to the breath as it goes out again. There is something deeper. There is more to you than your thoughts. There is a much quieter place. And by coming back to your breath, you can access that.
The soccer coach who once studied to become a Buddhist monk gave his players access to a life-saving tool. Meditation slows respiration, essential in a cave with decreased oxygen. Whether in a crisis below or the stressed world above, accessing the present can be anyone's escape.
They were meditating all together, and when you meditate with other people, it's going to increase your connection to them, your compassion for them. There's always a way. There's always a way.
Now, if you're interested in trying out meditation at home, this app has a lot of consumer experts recommending it. It's called Calm. It's trending in the App Store. If you try it out, let us know what you think about it. And I'll tell you what, I actually use that. I've used it for a couple years now. It's awesome.
All right,
yeah.
I'm gonna try it out.
Yeah.
It helps me deal with you. Is Bangor one of the most unusual cities in America? A major credit card company seems to think so. We'll try to figure out what earned the Queen City such an unusual title. That's coming up on NewsCenter Maine at 5:30.
And can the Freiburg Fair go on as scheduled after yesterday's destructive fire? That's all coming up in our next half hour of news.
All right, be right back with Brain Drops. All right, one quick final look at your pulse results, and overwhelmingly people are saying no. They do not believe that there will be any progress made here.
91% say
so
no.
Pretty one-sided. All right, Casey, Brain Drops.
All right, yesterday some pretty good storms, as a lot of people noticed, particularly over southern coastal Maine. I want to show you what's called a microburst. This is captured from Portland Headlight, and wait for it to come back around. Watch this right there. See that? Going down from the cloud at a high rate of speed. That's in addition to the rain. That's a microburst coming down. A microburst is extremely dangerous for airplanes. We're going to talk about that in a second, but the basic idea is the downdraft in the cloud that picks up the precipitation, pushes it fast to the ground, and then it fans out. So a lot of people experience it sideways, horizontally. That's because it hit the ground and fanned out, and then there's a little vortex in the back end of it. The next image is going to show you all the planes that have crashed from microbursts. When I used to forecast for aviation, this was a big concern because two things. One, if you're landing, it pushes you towards the ground faster than you want to. The other is if you're taking off, it picks up your speed, and then a lot of pilots throttle back because they think they're going too fast. They come out of the microburst, now they're going too slow. They stall, high angle attack, nothing good happens. So luckily just a few trees out of this one, but these are bad for airplanes.
Okay, well, thanks
All
for
right.
the uplifting news. NewsCenter 5:30 starts right now.